Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Busch Gardens Williamsburg recreation. Last time I showed off my Escape from Pompeii build as we make our way into the Italy section of the park. And we're just going to keep on heading that way going forward. There's a lot to do over here, a lot of little rides to build, a lot of scenery, a lot of infrastructure, all that good stuff coming up. So since last time I did make a few little extra tweaks to Escape from Pompeii, added in a little bit of extra detail in here. Not a whole lot worth going over, but just adding some extra fences and trees. Did want to give a special shout out to the new post pieces. There's now 2 different versions of this, so you can have them line up on both sides of your wooden post fences. Help things look a little bit more bulky, I guess, and symmetric, which is really awesome. Now, it's a extremely subtle thing that most people probably won't even notice or care about, but I appreciate it. Anyway, we started to make our way over into Italy, and we have built out a good chunk of it already. This is the San Marco area over here. I believe that's what it's called. This just has a lot of little flat rides. It's a really beautiful section of the park in real life. It's hard to capture all the subtleties of the real park in RCT. Doing my best though. But we have a lot of little flat rides over here. Standard swinging ship. This one is always easy to throw in and looks pretty nice in RCT. These two little, I think these are like little spinny rides. I think they're kiddie scale. So these are basically the same kind of thing I would do for the kiddie area in Dorney Park. Just build a little tiny 3x3 tracked roller coaster ride, put it in a launch mode and let it go. Makes a pretty convincing little flat. We also got this right over here, the flying machine. I've used a scrambler, a twist ride here for it in my build, but it's not really a scrambler in real life. I'm not 100% sure what the actual ride model is, but it's the kind where it looks a little bit like a scrambler, but the arms will tilt up and down. I think I built something pretty similar in Cedar Point. I don't remember if it was Troika or something like that. However, for here, I figured it would probably look better if I just didn't shoestring something crazy and huge and just stuck with the standard flat ride. I usually think these look pretty good here. Throw some custom fences on them, some custom flooring, and it's gonna look fine. So pretty happy with that. I believe there was one other flat ride over here that was recently closed. So there was a magic carpet ride, which is one of these things that used to be over here, but it was closed a few years ago. They didn't replace it with anything, so I'm just gonna leave it out of my build and put some more foliage in here instead. Could kind of expand these gardens a little bit. As far as the gardens themselves go, I've just been playing around with a couple of different things. These hedges here are made with maize pieces. Been starting to use these in my build a little bit. I don't think I used these pieces in Dorney Park for anything, but they look really nice if you can cover up the dirt patch that goes with them. They come with a little piece of dirt next to them, so you have to find a way to cover that up. And I've done so with some mulch pieces here that I've made from a carousel platform. But combine those things together, and I think it looks really nice. You get a nice little garden area over here. This section, this is where the magic carpet ride used to be. Not sure if I'm going to keep this. I'm not a huge fan of the way these like diagonal paths, these are fake paths made out of these corner triangular pieces. Not a big fan of these. They don't quite match the vanilla paths, so it's really obvious that they are fake. So not sure if I'm going to keep these. Might see if I can find a different kind of garden configuration to replace them with. Other than that though, pretty happy with the way this section of the park turned out. Looks pretty nice. Starting to see some of that Busch Gardens theming appearing here in my build of the park. A lot of nice foliage, you know, kind of sculpted hedge work and all that kind of stuff. It looks great in real life, and it's awesome to try to get that captured here too. We're still not going to see a ton of it going forward the next few episodes, probably just because I'm still focusing on getting the paths down, getting the rides laid down first. But as I fill in the corners with more and more trees and stuff, hopefully that will kind of come into focus a bit more. Anyway, moving on, the other section in Italy, I think this is called Festa Italia. This is where we have a couple more flats and the 2 roller coasters, which I have not worked on yet, but we'll get to pretty soon, I think. The 2 flats we have so far, we have a tiny little spinny thing. I forget the exact model of this. It's one of those Music Express type rides. It might actually be literally a Music Express. I don't remember off the top of my head. This is another like super popular ride for no reason, probably because it can fit a lot of people, I guess. So it just gets pretty big numbers, which cool, I guess, whatever works. Funnily enough, it's called Elephant Run, I guess because it's a reference to Marco Polo bringing stuff back from India, and we're seeing the first time I've ever used some of this Indian theming from the Asia set, these elephants. Has anyone ever used these for any build ever? I don't know. I sure haven't, but if it made sense to put one in here, so that's pretty cool. And then finally here in the middle, the other ride I've worked on, obviously a long way from being finished, we've got a Teacups ride, Turkish Delight. This is another build from Astray Life's Open RCT2 tutorials. Usually when I do my teacup rides like this, I just shoestring them, but this one is not shoestrung. Obviously it looks a little bit janky. Some of the cars are not synced up quite right. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I might fix it. I might not though, because there's going to be a roof over it. You won't be able to see basically any of the ride anyway. So as long as you can get a little bit of that movement like through the roof, maybe it's fine. So still a bit of a ways to go with that, but we'll get there eventually. It's going to be tricky to figure out some good roof designs. This part of the park has got a lot of round shapes, a lot of round structures that have like tent themed architecture to them. And that's going to be very tricky to pull off an RCT. It's always hard to do round buildings. It's even harder to do like sculpted shaped roofs that are round as well. Like sometimes the best you can do is just the stupid circus ride, but even this is only 3x3 and it doesn't quite line up with the grid either, because it's got the edges on like half a tile away from the edge of the tile. Might play around with that a little bit, but we're probably going to stick to track architecture for most of our roofing if good old plain base block scenery doesn't do it. Just more experimenting to do, things to play around with, and we'll figure out some stuff that works. But yeah, lots more work to do in here. Excited to get to sculpting out the rest of this part of the park. There's some really cool rides in here, some cool buildings I'm eager to put in, so we'll see how those go. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Again, really happy with at least some of this part. These little flat rides, these little gardens are looking pretty sweet. Really happy with the Italy section, how it's shaping up so far. And yeah, looking forward to doing more of it. But that's going to do it for this episode, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.